The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Wilcox, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31559. Please utilize this job number when referencing your new apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. You'll find there are two tow hooks located in the center. Just on the driver's side face of the bumper, you'll find your electronic siren, public announcement speaker. Moving up onto the body itself, you'll find a headlight and also a turn lamp. On the outer side and on the inside of the front grille, you'll find two emergency forward-facing lights. On the left and right front fenders in the front, you'll find an additional emergency light. Located on the driver's side, you'll find the air intake. On the fender, you'll find a right and left turn signal. And just to the rear, you'll find the latch mechanism to release the hood. Here are some close-ups of some of those images that we just talked about. Let's take a look at the front grille one more time. This is the forward-facing emergency lights located in the grille near the Pierce logo. Aluminum Alcoa wheels, Michelin tires. Moving to the body and cab section itself, we'll talk about some of these functions. First, door latches are all keyed. There are also grab handles at all locations for points of entry for personnel. The mirrors have an upper section which is flat and a lower section which is convex. Down at the very bottom, you'll find perimeter lighting. Moving up from that location, in the silver tank, silver cap, this is your main diesel tank. In the blue cap, black tank, this is a 4.5 US gallons DEF tank. Another image here of the under section lighting for perimeter lighting. Once again, ultra low sulfur diesel, silver cap, and blue is DEF. We're now into the cab section. You'll find at the lower section on the right, this is your main battery switch. As we look inside, we'll talk a little bit about this Pierce yellow logo. You also have comfort controls for the driver. This is the air assist for inflating and deflating air for comfort in the seat. Once again, your main battery switch. Comfort controls here in the front. This is once again the air inflation for your seat for comfort. And then you can see the yellowish orange handle. This is the front to back movement. As we look at the manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing placard, it has information here regarding date of manufacture, February of 2018, the job number. It also offers the VIN number located at the very bottom, cold tire inflation, and also gross vehicle weight ratings. In the placard next to it, you'll find the actual device, fluid capacity, and also the fluid type. Let's go ahead and move now up to the dash area. We're going to find a black placard. This is the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating, and it also has your job number. Located down at the very bottom, this is for your speed control, increase or decrease. Up from that location, you'll find your headlight control, parking lights. Up from that, you'll find your cruise control for accelerate, set, and coast. And at the very top, you'll find the speed control on-off switch. Looking at the dash on the left-hand side, you'll find your filter minder. This is for your air intake filter. Just beneath that, you'll find the Allison push-button transmission. To the right, you'll find your pump shift. Moving further to the right, you're going to find your pull to apply the parking brake or push to release. Just beneath that, you'll find two indicators. First, the pump engaged, and to the right of that, the OK to pump. Those will illuminate green when actively on.
Couple close-ups once again. In the upper right corner, your brake. Let's move up to the set of switches here. First you'll find your high idle, and then next to it you'll find your alarm reset. Both of those switches have indicator lights within the center of the switch. To the right you'll find a digital readout. Let's move down to the next set of switches. First you'll find your request for regen. Moving to the right, you'll find your engine brake. Further to the right, mirror heat, and then you'll have a door lock. All the way to the right, you're going to find this annunciator panel indicating your red, someone is occupying the switch for your seatbelt, green, someone is seatbelted in the seat. At the very top, you'll find your climate control. Down at the bottom, you'll find all 4 of your window controls for front and rear windows. And then you also have 2 future locations for additional switches if needed. As we move down on the panel, we'll find 2 power outlets. These are barrel style 12 volt 10 amps. Just beneath that, you'll find your port. And all the way at the very bottom, you'll find your speaker alarm. Just a quick look overhead, you can see you've got some locations for storage above. Also in the center you'll find your emergency master, lower zone lights, rear zone, a couple of future locations, your siren or horn selector switch, the left flood, right flood, and rear scene. To the far right you'll find your siren control and public announcement system. We're back outside now. We're looking at the driver's side rear cab. As we look inside, you'll find 3 seats across the very back. All 3 of these seats have accessibility for in-storage SCBAs. Underneath those seats, you'll find additional storage locations. Here's a sample of those seats themselves. Let's go back outside. This is going to be near the pump area. We'll start down at the bottom and work our way up. First, perimeter lighting on the left, manifold drain. As you move further to the right, you'll find your foam pump drain, and all the way to the very right, you'll find your foam pump intake drain. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pump panel area. First, let's start with, there are 3 sections we'll break down. We'll start at the bottom, but this is the very top section. The next are going to be your discharges and discharge levers, and then following down at the very bottom, you'll find all of your discharge ports and additional information. Let's cover some of those, starting down at the very bottom. On the far left, you're going to find your air inlet. Moving to the right, you'll find your shore power inlet. Let's move further to the right. You'll find at the very bottom the red and blue. These are going to be the associated drains for the 2 discharges above that location. As we move to the right, this is going to be your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. We'll cover a little bit about what's behind this access door in the next set of images. To help us, we've got some pictures of that. The Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter intake. Moving further to the right, you'll find your pump drain. This is a pull. And then all the way to the very top section, you'll find an informational warning guide here that only trained personnel should operate this. And then some information here regarding your system for your Husky system for foam. Moving to the right, in red, this is a 2.5-inch discharge. And all the way to the very far right in blue, a 2.5-inch discharge. We did not mention down at the very bottom, the red, or just beneath this warning label, this is the red intake for your foam. Let's take some close-up looks here. Once again, this is the air inlet and also your shoreline inlet. We have your driver's side 1 and 3 discharges. All the way to the right, you'll find the informational placard here for your Hale fire pump. Moving to the right, you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary. Further to the right, this is your foam information here regarding not to mix and also for intake, drain. We'll talk a little bit behind this access door here next. As you can see on the left, there are instructions on the actual drain itself for adding and filling of foam. And then you'll see also a twist handle here for your foam drain. Close-up of the pump drain. The Husky 3 foam system specifications. Here's the instructions also, and then the warning label regarding trained personnel. Let's start in the next section up. This is going to be your number 2 speedlay. It has water and foam capabilities. Next to it, you'll find your placard regarding test pressures 150, 200, and 250. Next to it, you'll find the number 2 passenger side discharge in orange. That's a 2.5 inch. And in red, you'll find the number 1 driver side discharge. That's a 2.5 inch also. To the far right, you're going to find your primer for your fire pump. There are instructions above that you should have your RPMs at least 1,000. And just to the right, number 3 blue, driver side discharge 2.5. Moving up to the top, this is going to be your speedlay in yellow. To the right, you'll find your real discharge, which is at the rear of the apparatus. And then the next one up is a real blowdown or your blowout, and it is a turn, not a push. Further to the right, your deluge discharge. All the way to the right, you'll find your 2.5 inch pre-connect. And I would like to note on these, you'll see that there is a water foam. That is to indicate whether that individual discharge can discharge foam. To the right, you'll find your tank to pump. And then all the way to the very far right, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. And at the very top, you're going to find your engine cooler. This is a turn, not a pull. Got a few close-ups of those individual things that we just talked about. Once again, this is your placard for 150, 200, and 250 PSI test pressures. Let's go ahead and cover the next section up. Let's start on the far left. This is a latch to open to get behind the actual pump panel. It's not a switch. As we start down at the very bottom, this is your pump intake. Moving to the right, this is the 2 ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged. These are your test ports. Moving up from that, you'll find your pump discharge. Moving further to the right, you'll find your water level. From all the way at the bottom, it will flash refill in red and then subsequently list the amount of water in your tank. Above this is an audible alarm. There is the ability to damper that alarm by twisting. To the right, you'll find your pump boss. At the very top, you'll find your pump engaged. When you exit the cab, this light will illuminate if you're properly engaged. To the right, you're going to find 6 sets of rocker switches here. This is the first set. It's the panel lights, and also, as you can see, there is lights inside those will illuminate if you have an item on. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to find your Husky foam system. This is the control module. And then above that, you'll find your foam level from empty to full in green. Once again, we'll have some close-ups here. This is the pump intake and also pump discharge. Your pump boss associated switches to the right for your panel and also left flood. Your Husky foam system. This is the control module and tank level. We're now back at the side of the pump panel. This is going to be the speedlays top and bottom section here. You can see with the netting removed, the inside speedlay can be removed so that you can load your hose and then return it back to storage. This is that lever we first talked about to allow you to access behind the panel for inspection. At the very top, this is going to be a telescoping floodlight. We'll take a look down at the side of the apparatus. First, you have a mid marker light turn indicator. Moving up from that location, you'll find an emergency warning light side facing. And then as we move all the way up to the very top, back, you'll find an additional emergency light. In front and rear of the wheel, you'll find SCBA bottle storage locations. And then let's take a look inside the compartment. Your first compartment, you have a fixed shelf, and at the very top, this is going to be your battery tender. This is when plugged into shore power, activates for maintaining the batteries of your apparatus. Inside the middle compartment, you'll find the shelf is fixed, although it is adjustable. As we look to the bottom, once again, this is that access door for your SCBA bottle storage. Let's move to the rear compartment. You can see 2 fixed compartments at the very top. They are adjustable, and the very bottom one is going to be adjustable, and it also pulls to the outward section. The latch is on the right. Back to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your ladder for climbing up aloft on top of the vehicle, We're also going to find a roll-up compartment door, which houses compartment space and also your reel discharge. Up in the very far right behind the diamond plate, this is going to be your ground ladders, 24-foot and a 14-foot roof. At the base of the apparatus in the rear, you'll find perimeter lighting, and in the very rear center, you'll find an additional attachment point or tow hook. Let's take a look at some of those items here. Starting on the left-hand side with the ladder behind it, you have your brake, turn, and reverse indicator. There are also emergency lights. You're also going to find some information here regarding warning and not to ride on the apparatus while in motion. At the very top, we have some rear scene lights. As we move to the compartment with the roll-up door at the very bottom, you'll find first your reel, and on the very far right, the push button to rewind the reel. And then just in this cutout, you'll also find a reset. Let's take a look at that a little closer here. This is your reel rewind at the top, and then you also have a reset at the very bottom. Once again, diamond plated access door, 24-foot and 14-foot roof. As we look at the indicator lights here, we have a reverse, turn, and brake. At the very top, you can find emergency warning lights and also rear scene facing lights. Let's go above on the very top. This is going to be your hose storage location. At the very bulk or top of the apparatus in the front, you're going to find your lid, which is the top fill for your tank. This is for water. To the right, this is going to be a latched and also vented tank. It is for your foam. Moving just up onto the very top, you'll find a rear-facing work light. And as we look into the hose bed itself, you'll find the 2.5-inch male discharge port. In the center area, you'll find the top section for your deluge. And as we move to the right, this is your foam pump, and this is also the fill location for that foam pump's hydraulic oil. Couple of close-ups of those items we just talked about. We're now looking at the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll take a look in each of those compartments next. Let's start with the rear compartment. You can see you have two adjustable shelves here. Moving forward to that location, you have SCBA bottle storage and also a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving to the right, difficult to see in the picture, although the very far right there is a warning label regarding hot exhaust. Center compartment here, adjustable shelf, roll-up compartment door. Moving to the forward position, better sample here of that warning sticker regarding the hot exhaust, marker light, and also SCBA bottle storage. Next compartment forward, you have a fixed shelf. Moving to the side panel or midsection of your apparatus, there are two access doors. We'll talk a little bit about those. You also have a 2.5-inch discharge and also a large diameter intake, Pierce American flag eagle logo. Underneath the apparatus, you can see you have perimeter lighting and also the discharge for your relief valve. As we move to the very bottom, you can see the individual color-coded and labeled drains, 2.5-inch, and also your large diameter. We'll take a look behind these access doors. Just above this, there was a sticker indicating be cautious when removing caps, for caps could be under pressure and dangerous when removing. As we look inside, you can see this is the portion of the front of the ladder, but this is also the valve location. Side access through your through crosslays. Let's go ahead and move to the forward section of the cab. Same door locks on this side, and also points of entry have grab handles, clear cutout steps, and also perimeter lighting at the base. Let's go ahead and look inside the cab from this location here. You'll see the 3 seats across the very back and also 2 seats in the front. The passenger seat is an SCBA equipped seat. Underneath those 3 seats in the rear, you'll find additional storage. As we move to the front passenger seat, this is your access point perimeter lighting. As we move inside the cab, you'll find at the very bottom your access here for your filter system. As we look inside the cab at about foot level, this is the push button for your electronic siren. Look up onto the dash itself. We got a little bit better view of the seatbelt information here. And overhead, we have additional storage and also your siren public announcement system. Congratulations, Wilcox, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31559. If you have any questions, please contact us at Hughes Fire Equipment. Thank you.